Friday from wherever you're watching EBN Weekend Edition tonight with me, Sammy Adika. Well, welcome to the broadcast. Starting us off, President William Ruto has defended U.S. Ambassador to Kenya Meg Whitman after the opposition leader-led Principal Raila Odinga accused Meg of meddling in the country's political affairs. Speaking on Friday at KCB's Tujiajiri graduation event at Kasarani Stadium, the head of state has asked Odinga to stop criticizing Ambassador Whitman as she was only stating facts. Later on, but heading to Eldoret, Uasin Gishu County, Senate Speaker Amason Kingi has praised President William Ruto on his leadership and confirmed that with him devolution is in safe hands. At the same time, Deputy President Adika asked United States Ambassador to Kenya Meg Whitman to ignore the call to recall threat by former Prime Minister Raila Odinga. The DP also called for collaboration and partnership between counties and the national government.
You cannot speak in a public forum before national television and say that you have the capacity to recall an ambassador from the United States accredited to this country by the American government. As a private citizen, how would you recall an ambassador? You cannot even transfer an assistant chief in your local application.
While flagging off the three-day devolution conference in Uasin Gishu County, Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua said that the nation is moving closer to addressing the negative impact of climate change. He also expressed his delight, citing the school meal program has reduced school dropouts and instead increased school enrollment. According to him, the school milk program will create market for dairy farmers because the government has doubled funds for the school feeding program to cater for the high number of learners.
Counties having hired over 51,000 ECD teachers. Sustaining growth in enrollment and retention is key. The current school meal program has reduced dropping out of school by 56.5%, while milk alone has increased enrollment by over 50%. Under the self-sustaining food system, the school meal program is a potential economic opportunity in inter-county trade. Already, counties like our hosts, Uasin Gishu, are providing milk to children. This is a source of market for the dairy farmers.
The DP urged governors to re-strategize and incorporate inter- and intra-county trades to ease revenue demands and reduce dependency on the national government. He also affirmed that the national government will roll out another registration in September to accommodate special groups, among them being the elderly, orphans, and people living with disabilities, to ensure they are also fully included in the devolution.
Empowering the counties to be economic powerhouses, we take note of the vulnerable groups of people amongst ourselves. They include orphans, the elderly, people living with disabilities, among others. They are at a risk of being left behind. The national government is rolling out another registration in September. We seek to partner with the counties in dignifying these special groups as conceived under the Inua Jamii program. We invite you to work with us in the registration process. On the other hand,
with successes like service improvements and challenges like political interference, the impact of devolution on Kenya's government continues to evolve, shaping a more inclusive and empowered nation.
And Tourism CS Penina Malonza has called on opposition leaders in Ukambani region to consider joining hands with the government in a bid to improve service delivery to Kenyans. While condoling with the family of Moana Member of Parliament Vincent Musyoka Kawaya, who lost their mother, Malonza has noted that she is ready to welcome the opposition leaders in government, with Wiper Party member Ngengele insisting that the region will greatly benefit if the leaders come together.
Nawaita sahi, kujeni. Na sisi tuko tayari kuwasongea, tuko tayari kukula na nyinyi. Angalau Ukambani tuungane, tuwe kitu kimoja. Tulete maendeleo na nchi yetu ibarikiwe. Ukambani hatutakubali tena kukaa nje ya serikali. Jamani, hata kama umezaliwa wapi, haki tumesafa.
Pole sana kwa watu wa Mwala, na vile vile tumefurahi kuona watu wote wamesikana, watu wa siasa wa mlengo ingine hii, sisi wote tumesikana tumalize hii. Kwa hivyo mtu aseme Wakamba hatuko pamoja. Wakamba tunaachananga watu wakati ya siasa. Ni vile tu ile kula mingi Wakamba ilienda opposition, iko outside the government, lakini sasa hivi kuna negotiation. Tutawasongea mahali waingie mahali. Tutawasongea.
Uhusiano wa maana sana kati ya viongozi kutoka kaunti zote tatu za Machakos, Kitui and Makueni wakiongea kwa sauti moja, na leo tunasema jamii ya Mkamba, siasa ya 2022 ilipita na matakio tukayaona. Kuna siasa ingine iko karibu, ni mpaka 2027. Hii jamii hatuwezi kaa kwa baridi, hiyo miaka yote imebaki miaka 4. Tunataka tusikie njoto ya serikali. Jamii yetu miaka iliyopita tumeachwa nyuma sana. Miaka 15 tumepotelea kwa upinzani. Najua inawezekana, ile inahitajika tu ni tu.
And youth in Samburu County have condemned the political leaders for failing to include them in their leadership. The youth have noted that leaders only exploit them during campaign period, thereafter fail to fulfill their promises. Speaking after meeting with youth from Samburu and Laikipia counties to address challenges facing them, the youth leadership has called on leaders to empower them and create employment opportunities for them.
Sisi kama vijana most of the time, mara mingi sana tumekuwa tukichezewa. Wakati siasa inamaliziwa, viongozi wakiingia kwa viti, vijana wanatelekezwa kabisa mpaka wanasahau kenye wanafanya. Ndio maana unakuta kuna uharibifu mingi inafanyika kwa sababu vijana wamekuwa wametelekezwa. Lakini ikifika siku ya siasa, wanasiasa wanakuja kwa wingi kutafuta vijana wawapatie kura.
Viongozi wengi wanatumia vijana wakati wa campaign, na baada ya kuchaguliwa vijana wanasaulika. So ni kama wanatumia vijana kama daraja ya kuingia kwenye viti. Wakishaingia huko wanafanya mambo yao peke yao. Sometimes mi huona hadi unapata youth anatumia drug kwa sababu amekosa option. Wamewapea kazi wakaacha kutumia drugs. Hiyo ndo swali. Second, vitu kama sports, wanaweza ji-involve na sports na watasaidia youth. But kukaa kwa ofisi kusema tutawaona after 5 years si mzuri.
Kitu tu mimi ningeomba ni kazi, tupewe my IDs. Tupewe my IDs, tutafutiwe kazi. Hizi mamikopo wanasema watuletee, sisi hatuoni hiyo mikopo. Ama kuna mtu akona mkopo hapa so mtuletee hizo mikopo hapa bila registration, tuingie hiyo interest kidogo, tutawapea ka registration. Ndio tujiwezeshe, tusitumie madawa. Naona mimi vile niko si eti mimi natumia vitu, hapana.
Na kazi pia. Kazi, vijana wapewe kazi. Isiwe tu ni kazi ni ya watu fulani, lazima ujue nani, lazima uwe umetoka kwa community fulani ndio upewe kazi. Kwa sababu bila kazi sasa tunabaki tu, inakuwa ni drugs, inakuwa ni wizi na maisha inakuwa ngumu.
Hiyo mambo ya vitambulisho, kwa sababu hatutakubali watu wachache 5 wameketi chini kama committee wananyima the all community kitambulisho, wamebaki nyuma kwa maendeleo ya hii Kenya.
Well, quite a good concern right there by Samburu youth leaders who now want the politicians or rather their leaders to stop engaging them only during campaigns, but keep it a continuous process of engagement. Well, on matters education, the National Commission for Nomadic Education in Kenya, in conjunction with agro-based organizations, is piloting the provision of enriched porridge to 600,000 lower-grade learners in 66 sub-counties in ASAL regions and 9 informal urban settlements. Let's take a look.
The Porridge for Education program began in the year 2021, and it is a pilot. It is in the pilot stage in 3 counties. That is Isiolo, Samburu County, and Garissa County. The program is funded by Government of Kenya through the National Council for Nomadic Education, and also with support from our partners. The porridge is being distributed to counties that have high levels of malnutrition, and which Isiolo is one of them. This porridge is being given as a mid-morning snack to learners in the grade 1, 2, and 3, since these are the areas that are crucial for development and growth. School Meals program is also providing 4 food commodities, which are the cereals, and we are giving at 150 grams per child per day. The pulses, which you're giving at 40 grams per child per day. The vegetable oil, which you're giving at 4 grams per child per day. And finally, the salt, which we are giving at 2 grams per child per day. The fifth commodity that now we are giving as a pilot is the porridge for education, which we are giving 250 ml packet per child per day. And this porridge enhances access of learners to schools and also promotes the cognitive development of our learners, and therefore finally enhancing the learner performance. The porridge has 4 nutrients, that is sorghum, orange-fleshed sweet potato, maize, and soya, and it is also fortified with micronutrients and finally sweetened with stevia, which is a natural sweetener.
I think the major purpose of super porridge is one, to ensure academic attendance is increased, particularly for the ASAL regions and the marginalized communities within Kenya.
And still on matters education, private university leaders have called on the government to consider reviewing the new university funding model, noting that it will threaten the survival of private universities. Speaking at Kabrak University, private university vice chancellors noted that the model will only see students, or rather which seeks to see, or rather, I'll take that again. Private university leadership has called on the government to consider reviewing the new university funding model, noting that it will threaten the survival of private universities. Speaking at Kabrak University, private university vice chancellors noted that the model, which will see students receive scholarships individually, is disadvantageous to students who would wish to join private universities, as they will be partially funded.
That couple will appeal to the government to review the funding model that has been provided. The scholarships have to be given to the public universities. We pray that the president reconsiders this decision so that also those who come to the private universities can access the scholarships, because we have very poor students who choose to come to private universities.
The funding model that was based on DUC, that funding model allowed students to be placed in all universities, public and private included. That, in our view, that model was not discriminatory. The current model is discriminatory in itself because it kind of places the students who have been placed to private universities as lesser students of this country.
And youth in Gishugu, Kirinyaga County have resorted to online jobs as a means of livelihood. A Jura program rolled out in different counties has mentored the youth to maximize on online job opportunities in these tough economic times. Many say the program has enabled them lead a comfortable life while supporting their families.
College student doing my exam. I did my last exam in 2021. And after I did my exam, I was left with a debt of 50,000, which I've been able to pay with online money up to 31,600. That is the balance. So I wasn't able to secure a permanent job since I don't have my papers yet. So I decided to join online work because I believe online work is work like any other work.
Nigeria, I used to look for jobs in different spaces. My background is in finance, and I used to seek jobs in different places, but Ajira has helped me in a big way to earn a living, to even be able to be in a position to do other works.
Trained 308 youth, and we hold trainings every month. So we have 2 or 1 trainings every month, and in each and every training we manage to make at least 10 to 15 online workers. So in a month we are able to have at least 16 people who are working every other month in the center. Have any capital for you to make an investment on online work. What you need to do is have the urge to do it, have the discipline to want to advance in a pace that is allowed. Come to the center, because We do the trainings for free. We do the mentorship for free. There is nothing that we are going to request from you. The government has made this program free for everyone.
And now on matters agriculture. The Ministry of Agriculture has pledged to upscale the price for maize per bag for farmers who will sell their produce to the government. Speaking in Kiplombe, Uasin Gishu County, Agriculture CS Mithika Linturi has noted that the government is focused on improving the agriculture sector as a means of resuscitating the country's dilapidated economy. A section of farmers expressed their gratitude to the government for the subsidized fertilizer, which they say will boost their produce.
Is to support production. Na kusupport production ni kuhakikisha tuna subsidize inputs ili mkulima aweze kupata mbegu kwa urahisi, aweze kupata fertilizer kwa urahisi, ili zote turundi mashambani, sababu kupitia kilimo tunaweza kuajiri vijana wengi sana wale hawana kazi. Wakulima wetu wamefanya mambo ya maana. Tumetembea, tumepitia njuu, tukiona vile Mungu ametubariki na mvua na chakula. So the assurance I want to give the farmers, na sahi serikali imejipanga vyema ya kwamba hatutaki mbolea, hatutaki mahindi yenu yaharibike. Nimesikia mtu msemaji wa hapo awali akisema mambo ya kukausha mahindi kwa veranda ama chini. Sasa hapana. Tayari tumeagisha dryers 100 ili tuweze kuwapatia wakulima siko mobile. Ikikuja inakaushia wewe, inapelekwa na tractor inakaushia wewe mahindi, unaweka gunia zako vizuri, tunapeleka serious board, alafu tunahakikisha kwamba hakuna.
And now moving to the western part of the country, farmers from Western Kenya now want the government to revert its directive to close down sugarcane milling companies, noting that it will kill their means of livelihood. The farmers say they have ready canes in their farms, which will go to waste if President William Ruto fails to open the cane milling companies. Let's take a look.
Tumeweza kuweka pesa zetu mingi sana kwa miwa na tumeweza kusaidika sana na hizi miwa ambazo tunasikia kwamba zinaenda kufungwa. Wakati tumekuwa na shida na upungufu wa wakulima na nini na mambo mingi ambayo ilikuwa inatuzuia sisi kama wakulima kulima, tukakuja tukasaidiwa sana na kampuni ya West Kenya. Wamesimama pamoja nasi, wametusaidia, tumelima miwa zetu hata ziko karibu kuwa harvested. Lakini sasa tunasikitika, sasa mimi kama mkulima niko na shamba eka 8. Miwa zangu ziko tayari kukatwa. Sasa nashangaa anapoongeza miezi 4, miwa zangu zitaenda wapi?
Sasa hatujui kwa nini rais umefunga mambo ya miwa na hali miwa zetu ziko kwa shamba na tunataka tuvuniwe hizo miwa tuweze kupata mapato kwa maisha yetu.
Kitu ambayo imetuumiza kama watu wa Western sana ni kuhusu kufunga kwa factory za kusiaga miwa. Na the right honorable Dr. William Ruto ambaye amefunga viwanda, na sisi tuko na karo mingi, tuko na mahitaji mingi, miwa mingi imeanza kuharibika kwa mashamba. Tunaomba rais wa nchi atufungulie viwanda ili mapato yetu kama watu wa Western ipate kurudi mahali tunataka.
Ombi langu ni kwa rais ya kwamba afungue viwanda, miwa ambayo tuko nayo kwa mashamba ikatwe, isiagwe ili tuwe na sukari. Na pia katika ukulima wa miwa ndio biashara, na kama anaweza funga biashara ya mtu abruptly, hiyo inaonyesha kwamba mtu huyo maisha yake atakuwa yameharibika.
And on matters security, a family from Kapiego in Elgeyo Marakwet is crying for justice after their kin was killed by bandits before stealing an unknown number of livestock. The death of Felix Kimayo, who was expecting to join a local university, comes barely days after Interior CS Kithure Kindiki toured the area and pledged to intensify fight against banditry and put to sleep insecurity cases that have been on the rise among pastoralist communities in the country.
Kwa majina mimi naitwa Mheshimiwa Davis Bigot MCA, na tuko hapa kwa usini mkubwa sana kwa ajili ya kijana ambaye aliuliwa na wale wako wesi wa mifugo Sepoko na wakaweza kuchukua ng'ombe. So mimi kama kiongozi tulikuwa tumekubaliana wote kwamba tunapenda amani. MCS wa West Pokot tumekutana na waziri siku 3 kabla hiyo ndege nyeupe kushuka Kipstona Kabushi. Leo hii tuko hapa mochari kutoa mwili ya kijana ambaye aliwawa. Na tunaposimama hapa, kijana huyu ambaye ameitwa university angejoin mwezi wa 9. Tunaipoteza kiolela. Na ningependa kuomba serikali kitu moja. Kwamba serikali mko na haki ya kulinda wananchi na mali yao. Kama vile tumeambiwa hapa, hii incident ili happen almost 600 meters tu kutoka kambi. Na response haikufanyika ile timely. Na hata kama ni coincidence, inaweza kuwa hii incident tatu. Na the moment akilana ndege yake, hii kitu ina happen. Because hata tumeenda mari, tumeenda mingle, tumeishi pamoja. Huwezi tofautisha. Lakini the moment huyu akikuja kuna shida. Lakini suluhisho ya kudumu. Tuliambia waziri Kindiki juzi, utusaidie uweke KDF kama logo.
Well, we do hope that the family shall get justice. Well, environmentalists in the country have called on the African government to discuss ways of improving food security in the continent and fight poverty. According to Alliance Africa Director Sheila Ochuboju, it's time to invest in drought-resistant seeds and plants.
The president last year at the African Union said it is time for action. We are tired of always just being on the sidelines of major climate talks. We want to be at the center. We want to be the host. We want to invite the world to have the conversation here. We were so proud that the president declared that his intention to host the summit. And so this action zone is to support that by showing that we're not here to just talk about the problems, the challenges, how difficult it is. We're here to offer solutions that are real on the ground, and they're coming out of Kenya, and these solutions are for the world.
Walking into this at a time when governments are yet to invest in food security. The Malabo Declaration, declared that 10% of all government budgets should go towards food production. We are yet to achieve that. And I am sure that if we ran the budgets of the African nations, including the whole of Global South, if you asked me, I will tell you that's why we are in the Global South. It's because we have not invested in our farming communities.
Well, that right there marks the end of our bulletin tonight. Many thanks for tuning in and choosing EBN TV. Until next time, do have a fantastic night and a great weekend ahead.